Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I rise today in strong support of the rule and the Senate amendment to H.R. 1586. The new school year is just around the corner. Families across our nation are preparing to send their kids back to school, and the experience that their children have this school year directly depends, Madam Speaker, on our actions here today in this chamber. The package before us today recognizes that we can't afford to stand idle while our schools are being hammered by budget crises across the country. In Colorado, districts are facing the deepest budget cuts in memory. Colorado school districts have cut more than $288 million out of their budgets for next school year. So the $160 million that Colorado will receive under this program provides much needed funds. Now I want to describe that that's typical of the experience of many states. In no way, shape, or form are we avoiding making the tough decisions or tough cuts during this recession. The states have made those, districts have made those. We have the opportunity today to make sure that those cuts don't affect the kids going back to school. What have districts done to balance their budget? They've reduced their staff size and salaries. They've increased furlough days. They've created larger class sizes. They've reduced instructional hours, cut after-school programs, established 4-day school weeks. We're undercutting the future of American competitiveness by getting in the way of the ability to educate kids today because we happen to be in a severe budget crisis. We here today in this chamber, Madam Speaker, have the opportunity to get these much-needed funds to states and school districts across the country. In addition, the budget of Colorado and more than half the states in the country assume that the FMAP increases will occur. If they don't, if this chamber doesn't act here today, Colorado would have to come up with $245 million more in cuts, and in most states, including my home state, those cuts would generally hit education, law enforcement, higher education. So the extension is critically important, not only for the low-income families that rely on Medicaid for health services, but also for all public services that are so essential for our communities. Undermining public education during a recession is no way to build a world-class educational system, no way to create the economic engine of growth for our nation for the next century, when more than ever jobs will depend on what people know and their ability to think rather than what they can do with their hands. By passing this here today, Madam Speaker, we can help ensure America's competitiveness in a global, knowledge-based economy. Inaction today, in the face of today's crisis, would simply mean further erosion of our nation's human capital, our greatest asset. Madam Speaker, this is not spending we are considering today. This is an investment. It's an investment in our most valuable asset, our children and our future. I urge a yes vote on the previous question in the rule. I yield back the balance of my time, and I move the previous question on the resolution.